Good afternoon, lovely people, and welcome back to my channel. This is Yellowberry. This afternoon I would like to show you how to make a simple but elegant and beautiful straw fascinator. I've got a client who asked me to make a white fascinator, and she didn't know exactly what she wanted, so she just gave me a challenge to make one for her. So first of all, I'll need my straw mat. This is a white straw mat I've got, but I couldn't find a plain white color. I just find this multicolored, but at the back is white, so this is what I'm going to use. And I'll need a seam ripper. I'll need a seam ripper to rip apart the threads. I'll need a needle and thread. I'll need a pair of scissors. I'll need some hot glue gun, some hot glue sticks, and I've got my favorite tool, of course, my hot glue gun here, which is burning already. And I've got this transparent thread I'm going to use. Transparent thread is good because you don't see any traces of thread when you do your project, but today I'm just going to use white thread as well because it's equally strong. The one I'm using is like almost twine. It's just what I want to use today, but you've got the choice of using a transparent thread or a normal thread. And I've got some beads. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I've got these lovely beads I've got here. I'll just keep them with me. And I've got as well some feathers. I've just got some white feathers I've got here. We don't know what you're going to come up with, but you know, for embellishing purposes, I've got some feathers there. And I've got my Alice band. I've got a thin Alice band which is silk coated, so this is what I'm going to use. And of course I've got my beautiful mannequin head. I'm just going to be placing my fascinator so I know where to place which. So okay, let's get started. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my seam ripper, and I'm just going to make an incision. If you've seen my video before of how to make a straw fascinator, I showed you how to make an incision, which you just have to open. Once you make an incision, just pull it and see which way it is going, then you just go with the flow. So this way you can see I'm just easily ripping it. What I'm trying to do here is just taking off this yellow. Like I said, my client wants a plain white, so I'm going to get rid of this yellow bit so that it doesn't actually compromise the pattern I'm going to come with. At the moment, to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to come up with, but I just trust that I'm going to come up with something nice. When we've done this now, we still got this other one of which we don't want, so we're just going to make another incision again, and we're just going to rip it apart as well. And we're just going to be left with, you know, we're just going to be left with this white one. So this is what we are going to be using, because as you can see it's plain white, so it means I definitely have to come up with a pattern or a style to make with this one. So keep watching. So I'm just going to play with this my circle. You can make anything that you want. Like I said the other time, you know, with these things there's no wrong, there is no right. You just have to play with it and see what you can come up with, of which, as for me, I've just come up with something I think is quite interesting. Look at the shape I've just come up with. I've just been playing up with it. Maybe next time if you ask me to make it again, I'll fiddle around and won't know what to do. But this is what I've come up with, and I think it's just a beautiful shape from the look of it. And I just try it on my mannequin head to see if this will look nice, or if I have to choose something else, of which I think this one will look perfectly fine. So I'm just going to go with this style. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a pin and I'm just going to put it there, so I just keep it intact. This way now I'm just going to put it on my mannequin so that it's easier for me to do some adjustments whilst I'm fitting it firmly on the mannequin head. Keep watching. So at this point, I'm quite sure that this is where and this is how I want the shape of my fascinator to be, and I'm just going to remove the pin I've just stuck onto my mannequin, and I'm just going to secure it. I just don't want anything to show. I just want very neat finishing down there, so I don't want anything to show under there. So I'm just going to get my needle and thread, and I start from the inside. I just start from there because I want my fascinator to be as neat as it can be, and then I'll just secure the fascinator in place. Make sure your thread is double, because if you've got single thread, it might just break, and then your work will not look as neat as you want it to be. Because the most important thing is just that you keep your work very, very neat. And if you're working with something like white, you know, you need to keep your hands as clean as possible, free from makeup and all things like that, so you don't ruin and mess up your project. So with the thread, try and be discreet as possible. That's why I advise to use transparent thread, because with transparent thread you won't go wrong. All the threads will be visible. But me, I'm just going to use the white thread that I just got when I ribbed. You see, when I ribbed that fascinator apart, I've got some loose hanging threads that were left here, so that's what I'm going to use to sew. Alright, so as you can see, I've just secured it. Now it's intact, it's not going to fall apart, and I make sure that that's where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to put my fascinator there, and my hot glue gun is heating there, and I think of ways that I want to decorate it. So like I said, when I ripped these things apart, I was left with these strips, loose strips. So I'm just going to get this one, and I make sure I remove all these loose threads, and I just want to see if I can use some of these just to decorate it. This lady requested for white, but she didn't tell me what the occasion was. She just said I have to make a nice one. So I believe it's a fascinator for a very special occasion, of which with white you don't want too much drama. So I'm just going to make the minimal of embellishments, but at the same time make sure that I make it very, very beautiful. So keep watching. Once I finish securing it with thread and needle, I start thinking of my embellishments, what to use now. I found a piece of crinoline, of which crinoline is very, very nice on making fascinators. What you can do mostly with cinnamon fabric, you can do it with crinoline as well. So I'm just going to make a crinoline strip from this crinoline material, so to help me embellish my fascinator so as to make it more beautiful. So what you do when you're making crinoline strips, you just take your iron. This time you need a hot iron, and if it's a steam iron, it's still good, because you need to give it a very, very good press. So you just take your strip. As you can see, it's stretching already. So what you do, just fold the rough edge. If both edges are smooth, better for you, good for you. But if one side is cracked like this, just take it and put the smooth one on top, like I'm doing there. Then press it down. Press your crinoline down once you've folded it like the way I've shown you, and then start ironing. You can use steam, or you can just iron without steam. Both ways are the same. As you are ironing it, make sure the other hand is pressing firmly on the iron and the other hand is just pulling your crinoline like this, pulling like what I'm doing. So as you can see, it's already starting to make a strip. So make sure your iron is at the hottest. Make it very, very hot. Fold your crinoline and iron, press really hard, and at the same time you're just pulling your crinoline. As you can see, it's already starting to make a very nice, beautiful strip. Sometimes people use cinnamon, but you can use crinoline. It all come out the same. So after I've finished ironing my crinoline, these are the strips that I've come up with. As you can see, if you use very, very hot iron, you come out with nice and smooth crinoline strips just like this. So I'm going to use these strips, and also I'm going to use I've just cut a little strips from my leftover of my straw mat, and I'm just going to use this one as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to measure how much I'll need, and I think if I place it in here and I place it there, it's going to look nice. So I'm just going to try so many different things, whether I should put the crinoline, whether I should not, whether I should add more straw or not, and then I'll come up with something nice. So let us see what I'm going to come up with. I just have to measure and see where I want to place my crinoline there. So I've measured my first crinoline strip, and this is where I think I want to place it. So just put some glue there. Take my hot glue gun and just put a generous amount of glue there. When you're working with glue, you have to be generous and make sure you press it so that it sticks well. You don't want to put too much, you don't want to put too little, but at the same time, like I said before, if you working with glue as well, sometimes you want to secure with needle and thread, but hot glue is very, very strong. Never have I made my fascinator and it is unraveled, so I love to work with hot glue. So instead of putting another crinoline strip, I've just decided to put one, and the other one I've just decided to use a straw strip. So I just measure again where I want it to go and where I want to place it, and this is what I've come up with. As you can see, it's coming up nice. So this is where we are now, and we keep looking at what else we can use to embellish our fascinator. So after a second thought, guys, I've just decided to put the second crinoline strip. I just thought, why not? I've made it already, so why can't I attach it and still the first fascinator still looks beautiful? I don't want to overwhelm it, but I don't want it to look plain as well. So I've just put it, guys. What do you think? We're in this together. What do you think? I think it's coming out beautiful. So I've just secured everything with my hot glue gun, and this is where we are now. This is how the fascinator basically is looking. So we go on and we choose other embellishments to put. At this point now, we want to put our fascinator on the mannequin. This is the most interesting bit, because whatever we're going to do now, I'm just going to do it whilst the fascinator is just sitting on there. So I just take my pins and I'll just put it on the mannequin there, so it's easier to work with. Keep watching. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my feathers. That's the next embellishment that I'm going to use. The feathers, they just come straight like that, and sometimes you just have to be creative and make them look somehow nice depending on what you want. Either you put them like this, or Either you make a pattern, of which with mine I've just made this pattern from this to this, and it's very easy how you can make it. Sometimes if you just want it to curl up like this but still remain a full feather, it's up to you. It's doable as well. All you need to do is just to take your hair clippers. This is an old hair clipper I've just kept for my feather creation as well. Put it at very hot temperature, and this one I've already curled. I don't want to keep curling, otherwise it will lose its whiteness. So just put it there and just curl it just the way you do your hair. Just put it under your thing and just curl it just the way you do your hair. This is how you curl feathers, and it will give you this structure from this one to this one, which is very beautiful. And for you to come up with this effect, this lovely effect, you just curl it again. But before you curl it, just take your straight feather, which is like this. Just make sure it's all nice and straight. So all you just need to do is you just make some snips. You're just snipping, and you blow it. Look at that. And you go on the other side as well with your scissors. Just make some little snips from the end going to the center of your feather. Just a snip. You're just snipping from the end going to the center of your feather. See, and this is what you have. After you've done that, you just take your curling scissors as well, then just put it and just curl it. Then you come up with this effect. So beautiful. So it's up to you. There's so many patterns you can make. If you look at other videos on YouTube, you'll be able to see that there are plenty of them that you can make using the strips. So the other thing now, because these ones are very nice, they won't even snap. The only thing you have to do now, just come to the end there and just snap the bottom of them feathers. You can just measure how long you want your feathers to be. If you want them short, just cut them from there. If you want them long, keep them long. It just depends on whether you want them to be. So I'm just going to arrange my feathers on there and see what we come up with. When you get to this point, it can get quite tricky, so you don't want to put glue everywhere. So you have to be very careful now how you're doing things. You don't want your glue to dry before you put your feathers on there, and at the same time you don't want to rush, otherwise you stick your feather in a place that you don't want. Once you place your feather, just give it a pinch so that it dries in place. Feathers are very quick to dry as well as hot glue, so it's fine. As you can see, I've just attached my feathers, one there and one there, and one is longer than the other, which gives it a beautiful effect. So this is where we are now. If we want to keep on placing feathers, it's up to you how many feathers you want. If you just want to keep your fascinator nice and simple, don't put too much. But if you just want to make it to look a little bit more extravagant, you just use as many feathers as you want. This one, I want to make it beautiful, but at the same time I don't want to overwhelm it, so I have to be careful with my embellishment. So guys, this is how much I've just decided to do with my feathers. I didn't want to put too much, just minimal, so that I don't overwhelm it. There is no right or wrong, like I said. It's just up to you how you want your fascinator to look. So the next one now I'm going to do is to use my beads just to embellish it. As you can see, these are very beautiful beads. With beads, you can choose to use your fingers just to stick them on if you want to stick them on. If they're those ones with a hole, then you have to use needle and thread. But As you can see, these ones, they're just like a chain beads. So I'm not going to put too much. I just want these big ones. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to snap and take the big ones from there, and I'm going to stick them on there. I'll see how it works. If it's not coming out nice, we might just change and put the smaller one. We'll see how it comes out. Besides using fingers, you can also use the tweezers, of which it's helpful to hold your bead, put some glue and stick on. It's very helpful. It's only me, I choose to use my hands because it works better for me. Okay, so with this fascinator, I've just thought of going with minimal beads, since I've put some feathers there and some crinoline strips. So I've just decided to take these small ones. So I just took my bead strip, and I just started cutting and snipping off, taking only small beads. So this is what I'm just going to use just to embellish inside there. Just put minimal, then I'll show you once it's done how it looks like. As you are doing this, make sure you're very discreet because you don't want your glue showing. So just try to be minimal with your glue, but at the same time make sure it's well secured. As you can see, this project has remained clean from the beginning and it still remains clean. So this is what I've come up with. As you can see, this fascinator has come out really nice, really nice. Plain white fascinator. It's beautiful, it's elegant. So the next thing after this is just now to take your Alice band. The most important thing with Alice band, sometimes put it on your own head, see where it sits, then make sure you put your glue and attach it exactly where it corresponds with your head, so that you don't have it too low or you don't have it too high, or just put it on the mannequin. As long as you see that is sitting on well where you place it, it means it will sit on well on the head. Normally fascinators are on the right side of the head, but some people choose to wear it on the left side. It's still all right. So this is today's creation. Hope you have enjoyed it. Tell me what you think in the comments section.